Cause I be on my grind like 24/7. Cause I know I got a long way to go to get to heaven. No sleep till December and it's only February for the next 10 months. Nigga, I'ma get money. I'ma be
Running in these streets ain't nothing good for me, but a nigga gotta eat, so I'm always on my feet.
Today is the High Holy Shabuot, set apart day, Feast of Shabuot, also known as Pentecost, also known as the Feast of Weeks. But another thing that some of you might not know is that this is also a wedding anniversary. All right, we're going to explain that soundly. That Feast of Pentecost is a wedding anniversary, and it is this is part of what we're celebrating. All right, let's get right into it. Turn over to Moreh 2, verse 2. We're going to touch on some more of the meaning of the Feast of Shabuot. We're going to get some more understanding on it, and possibly break this down from an angle, or we're going to touch on some points that too many people aren't familiar with. So that's what our goal is to do right now, is to familiarize you with some of these meanings of Feast of Pentecost. Okay, Moreh chapter 2, verse 2. Go ahead and read when you got it.
Go, and you shall cry in the hearings of Jerusalem, saying, Thus said Yah, I remember you, the kindness of your youth, the love of your bridehood, when you went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown.
Okay.
Sown.
So he tells us to remember the kindness of thy youth. This is when we're young, at first becoming an organized nation under a government. All right, but he says, read that part again, because you're reading from the scriptures. So it said the love of your bridehood.
Okay, start right there.
Yeah.
The love of your bridehood, when you went after me in the wilderness, in a land that was not sown.
Yeah, so we went after the Most High in the wilderness, and he calls it the love of our bridehood. All right, in a land that was not sown, that was the wilderness. Okay, read on.
Yisrael was set apart to Yah, the first fruits of his increase. All who ate of it became guilty. Evil came upon them, declares Yah.
Okay, so it shows that during the wilderness, when we first went after him, we were called the first fruits of his increase. Now we all should know that the Feast of Shabuot is also known as the Feast of First Fruits. Okay? So let's go back in history some and see how, let's kind of look into how the Most High did this and why he compares this to a marriage. All right, go, Zaria, get Exodus chapter 19.
Verse 1.
Start at verse 5.
Exodus chapter 19, verse 5. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
All right, so he's given us the stipulations of this covenant or this agreement. In Hebrew, amongst the Hebrews, it was known as a ketubah, or a marriage agreement or a contract, and it listed the terms of this contract, of this covenant. It listed the duties of the husband, what he would do, and the duties of the woman, the wife, what she was supposed to do. And this is what is taking place right here in Exodus 19, verse 5, where he says, if you will obey my voice. Okay, it's common knowledge amongst anyone who reads the Bible that Just in case it's not common knowledge, let's go ahead and get that from 1 Corinthians chapter 11. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 11. Read verse 3.
And I wish you to know that the head of every man is the Messiah, and the head of woman is the man, and the head of Messiah is Elohim.
Okay? And we're going to also back that up with get Genesis chapter 3. So we can see that the head of woman is man, head of man is the Messiah, head of Messiah is the Most High. That's the proper order of things. Genesis 3, verse 16, I believe. Yeah, go ahead.
Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee.
Okay? So the Most High as our husband, this is all, we're speaking in figurative language here. This is how the scriptures are speaking to us here. The Most High as our husband tells us, if you will obey my voice, this is in Exodus 19 verse 5, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure to me. All right, above all people. Now these are the terms that the only way Israel can be a peculiar treasure is if Israel is obedient. Okay, so that's easily understood. All right, now how can a woman be a peculiar treasure? Get Proverbs chapter 31. Proverbs chapter 31. And I want you to read verse 10.
Proverbs chapter 31 verse 10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Okay, so a virtuous woman, you can see she's a treasure. She's worth more than rubies. And that's what Israel could have been and still can be if Israel is obedient. All right, so the terms of this covenant, of this agreement, are very simple. It's obedient. All right, and the Most High follows His own law. Because these are part of the terms. Real quick, give me Exodus chapter 21. Exodus chapter 21 and read verse 10. This is one of the requirements. This is a law on the duty of marriage, or the duty of a husband. And this is if he takes another wife. But notice if even with his first wife, he still must provide these things to this woman. He's responsible for these duties. These are his duties. Read.
And if he takes another wife, her food, her covering, and her marriage rights are not to be diminished.
Okay? So, he can't diminish, it's saying here, he can't diminish from if he takes another wife, because this is what he's supposed to be providing for the wife that he has already. He's responsible for her food, her raiment, and the duty of marriage. Now, everyone should know what is meant by the duty of marriage, right? Okay? A man is required, just like a woman is required, to provide conjugal relations. I'll leave it at that. Okay, let's get into this some. Let's see how the Most High has provided us with that. Now, we all know that the Most High, He fed us with manna, right? Okay, He provided us with food. It was a land that was not sown. So we couldn't go out and harvest any food. He gave us manna from heaven. Now what's that true manna from heaven? What's the true bread?
This word.
Right. Okay? And the Mashiach, he came and he provided that. He provided this word, the sound teachings. Okay? But on a physical level, he did give us food. Alright, and as far as the raiment goes, I got my scriptures all over the place here. Just read from the King James. Isaiah 61, verse 10.
Isaiah chapter 61, verse 10. I will greatly rejoice in Yahweh. My soul shall be joyful in my Elohim. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels.
Okay? So we see what that clothing was that the Most High provides. Alright? He clothed us with the garments of salvation. He covered us with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with her jewels. Alright? So that's another part of the duty or the fulfillment of the duty of a husband that the Most High has provided. Okay? Now, the duty of marriage. Okay? Get from the King James right quick. Amos and Moshe chapter 3. I want you to read verse 2.
Amos chapter 3, verse 2. You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
Okay? Now what does it mean, have I known? Everybody knows what that's meant by in the scriptures, right? You know, just like Adam knew his wife Eve and she conceived, right? So that the Most High was intimate with us on a spiritual level. Okay, when you know your wife, that's the consummation of a marriage. You become one. All right? As a matter of fact, let's get that right quick. I still want to touch on that. Go back to was it Genesis chapter 2? I want you to read verse 24. Oh, the page is torn out. I'll read it right quick. Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Now that word flesh is interchangeable with the word body. Okay, they are one. Once they go into the marriage chamber, once the marriage is consummated, they become one. All right. So where it says in Amos chapter 3 verse 2, only you have I known. It's you. Obviously, you know the Most High knows the whole world to know somebody, but to be known in an intimate way, we know what that means. All right, in the Brown Driver and Briggs Hebrew lexicon, one of the definitions is to know carnally, or meaning to lie with, to be intimate with. Yes, he was intimate with Israel on a spiritual level. Let's go to the Apocrypha. The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And I notice a lot of radical Israelites, they read the scripture, but they forget what's going on. We know how that goes. They read scriptures without understanding. All right, so we're going to bring some understanding as this point's being made. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, I want you to read verse 56 through 59.
As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel.
Okay, because the other nations are like nothing. Because the Most High, he says he took Israel unto himself as his bride, as a special treasure. All right, and he says only Israel has he known. Read on.
Verse 57. And now, O Yahweh, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us, and to devour us.
Go ahead.
But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands.
All right. So notice how we've been called thy fervent lover. See? Because only Israel has he known out of all the families of the earth. Okay? So the question that's being asked here by Ezra is, if we're supposed to be your people and intimate with you, why are these nations or these heathens ruling over us?
Verse 59.
Now go ahead and read that.
If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure?
Right. It's going to endure until you repent. It's that simple. And then you will be, it will be fulfilled. The Most High will do his part and make you that peculiar treasure. See, he did his part. We have to do our part. And that's obedience. We have to be a righteous bride. Okay? And this doesn't just go for Israel. It goes for anyone who wants to join themselves with the house of Israel. You know, one law from the stranger and for one law for the stranger and for the native born. Okay? And also at the same time, this is for women and men when it comes to your marriage. Okay? There's duties of the husband, duties of a wife. And you can look back on this and you can reflect on these things. And you can, make sure that you're in line with what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? So that's the husband, provide them with food. Does that mean just to feed them? Yeah, you should be able to take care of them. But you must also provide them with that spiritual food. That's one of the reasons why Shabuot said what he said. If the woman wants to learn something, let her ask her husband at home. Okay? And then the raiment. Just like the Most High. Doesn't mean just put clothes on their back. But do what the Most High did. Clothe them with the garments of salvation. Cover them with the robe of righteousness. All right? Protect them when it comes to that. Don't let them stray to the right or to the left. That's part of your duties as a husband. And also the duty of marriage. We know what that means on a physical level. Most people don't have a problem with doing that, fulfilling that part of it. And a lot of times that's why many people get married. But be intimate, become one spiritually. Okay? They should be a treasure above all other people. All right? So let's move on. Let's go back to Exodus 19. Just let me know when you're ready to jump in. Okay, Exodus 19, verse 5. Continue on in verse 6.
And now, if you diligently obey my voice and shall guard my covenant, then you shall be my treasured possession above all the peoples. For all the earth is mine, and you shall be to me a reign of priests and a set-apart nation. Those are the words which you are to speak to the children of Israel.
Okay? Now notice there's conditions. The only way Israel will be special is if it's through obedience. So that means you can bloodline, all that stuff, in which most of us, I'll say all of us, cannot trace our lineage back to 70 AD when they had the records, you know, when people were registering their families back in the 1st century. Okay? So none of us can trace that. All we have to go by is the signs and the curses. Okay? But if regardless of your lineage, if you are not obedient, you are nothing. You fall right back in the category as the heathen, being just like spittle. So it does not help to get out here, bark, whine, and boast about being Israel if you're not bringing forth these righteous works, or if you're not doing the duty of a wife. Okay? A spiritual wife. You have to do your part and uphold the covenant. Because if we would have done that in the first place, we never would have been exiled. We never would have required a redeemer if we would have been obedient. All right? So at Sinai, we entered into this marriage agreement with the Most High. I want you to read Sirach 25, verses 25 and 26. Now this is a book of wisdom here, and notice what he tells a man to do when a woman is wicked. Ecclesiasticus chapter 25, verses 25 and 26.
Give the water no passage, neither a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. If she go not as thou wouldest have her, cut her off from thy flesh, and give her a bill of divorce, and let her go.
All right? And this is sound wisdom right here. Did it say if she doesn't go as you have her, just be fine with it, say it's okay, live with it? It doesn't say that. It says cut her off from thy flesh, no longer be one with her. Give her a bill of divorce and let her go. Okay? This is what the Most High tells us to do. But see, he did this to us. But he's going to take us back. All right? Get Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah chapter 31. Jeremiah 31, verse 31.
Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Yehudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break.
Okay, they broke that covenant. All right? The Most High didn't break that covenant. Israel broke that covenant. Read that part again.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they break, although I was an husband unto them, saith Yahweh.
Okay, he was a husband to us, but we broke the covenant. Read on.
But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. After those days, saith Yahweh, I will put my law in their inward parts, and write it in their hearts, and it will be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them unto the greatest of them, saith Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I'll remember their sin no more.
That's right. So we can see in the future, and see this was set in motion with the Messiah. When the Messiah came, those iniquities were forgiven. Okay? Now, people gotta understand that Israel went into captivity after the Messiah came. The apostles were killed. People were killed. They died for righteousness. See, the thing is, it doesn't mean you won't go unpunished. You can be forgiven, but you still have to suffer some judgment. Just like with your children. You discipline your child. You punish your child. You forgive him for his transgression. But they still have to undergo the punishment. They have to learn something. We need this history. We need this experience to help us learn. All right, and along those lines, can you get Yirmiyahu chapter 3? Chapter 3, verse 8.
Okay. And I saw that for all the causes for which backsliding Israel had committed adultery, I had put her away and given her a certificate of divorce. Yet her treacherous sister Yehuda did not fear, but went and committed porn too.
Right. Okay. He could have, the Most High, in the law, the judgment for adultery is death. Okay? But there's different types of adultery. But the judgment for adultery is death. But the Most High put us away. Or he put the northern kingdom away. Okay? But Yehuda, the southern kingdom, they went and played the harlot as well. They were also put away. But he says he's going to take them back. Okay? The Most High does not like putting away or divorce. If you can get me Malachi chapter 2, I want you to read verse 16. See, Israel went and played the harlot spiritually by getting involved in idolatry and simply being disobedient. You can't serve two masters. Malachi 2, verse 16.
For Yahweh, the Elohim of Israel saith that he hated putting away. For one covered violence with his garment, saith Yahweh of hosts. Therefore take heed to your spirit, that ye deal not treacherously.
Okay? Putting away means divorce. The Most High hates that. But it must be done at times. See, in the beginning, this was not, the Most High didn't design man, and he didn't plan it or mean for man and woman to come together just to get divorced. He meant for man and woman to come together and stay together. But through the hardness of our hearts, that means women not fulfilling their duties, men not fulfilling their duties. That's the hardness of our hearts. Moshe was instructed to put a stipulation in the law that allowed for divorce for specific reasons, not just for any old reason. Okay, and we read one of the reasons earlier about a woman gadding abroad, meaning going out doing whatever she wants to do, doing her own thing. If you have a woman like that, you are to put them away. If you can't rein her in, if she doesn't want to be obedient, and I'm not talking about ruling over them like a slave master, but it's just an order of headship. Similar to how if you go to work and you have a supervisor or an executive, someone over you, you have to be in obedience according to your job. Those are the guidelines of your job. They're not beating you or treating you in an uncivil way, but they are ruling over you. They rule over you at your job. And a husband rules over his wife, but it's in a loving way. That's the position that he's in. He would be the CEO of the home. Okay, and that's all that's being said there by the women being obedient. Okay, but at the same time, If a man cannot provide those things that are outlined in the scriptures about the food, the raiment, and the marital duties, if he can't, when I'm talking about spiritual thing, I'm speaking on a spiritual level. If he can't provide those things, then he's failing at his job. He's not qualifying for the position that he has. All right, so this is what the Most High is teaching us in this in the Feast of Weeks. When we meet with Him on Sinai, we enter into covenant. We entered into a marriage contract. Okay? Now I got one more scripture. Let's go to Matthew chapter 22. Matthew chapter 22, as I start reading at verse 1.
And Yeshua answered and spake unto them again by parables, and said,
Notice this parable. Pay close attention.
The kingdom of heaven is likened to a certain king, which made a marriage for his son.
Now, does that sound familiar? The kingdom of heaven is being likened to a marriage. Go ahead.
And sent forth his servants to call them that were bidden to the wedding, and they would not come. Again he sent forth other servants, saying, Tell them which are bidden, Behold, I have prepared my dinner. My oxen and my fatlings are killed, and all things are ready. Come to the marriage. But they made light of it, and went their ways, one to his farm, another to his merchandise.
Notice how they made light of it. Okay? Remember, being bid to the wedding, being asked to come to Sinai and enter into covenant. You make light of that. Look what's going to take place. Read.
Verse 6. And the remnant took his servants and entreated them spitefully and slew them. But when the king heard thereof, he was wroth, and he sent forth his armies and destroyed those murderers and burned up their city.
You know what's interesting is, Jerusalem was burned. Temple was burned. Read on.
Then saith he to his servants, The wedding is ready, but they which were bidden were not worthy. Go ye therefore into the highways, and as many as ye shall find, bid to the marriage.
Okay, in this parable, they are told to ask those people to come to the marriage. All right, be gathered and at this marriage ceremony. Go ahead.
So those servants went out into the highways and gathered together all as many as they found, both bad and good, and the wedding was furnished with guests. And when the king came in to see the guests, he saw there a man which had not on a wedding garment. And he saith unto him, Friend, how camest thou in hither not having a wedding garment? And he was speechless. Then said the king to his servants, Bind him hand and foot, and take him away, and cast him into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. For many are called, but few are chosen.
Right. So right now, you can be called. Being called, the Most High can call you out of this world. He can open up your mind to some understanding in these scriptures. And listen clearly. Being called is not just knowing that you're an Israelite. That's not being called. Being called means that you were getting called to obedience. All right? Because the stipulations of the marriage, it's obedience. All right? That's what being called is. It's when you start to obey, when you start to hear this word and obey. Okay, that's what being in the truth is. You ever hear that? When people, they find out, oh, I'm an Israelite, they think that's in the truth.
Of course. In addition to that, what I be thinking about is Cornelius.
Oh, yeah.
Because Gentiles, they don't have to get circumcision of the flesh like we do on the 8th day. You know, so we have to do it because it's a sign and a covenant for us. But however, likewise, just like the Gentiles, like anyone else, it's paramount that your hearts be circumcised as well. Because if your heart is not circumcised, who cares if your flesh is circumcised?
Right. It doesn't mean anything. It's just an outward showing. It's just like baptism. Okay? If you're filthy on the inside, washing the outside is not going to help. You got to cleanse the inside. You know, there was a brother who he was concerned because he was a brother overseas, sincere brother, and there's no one in this area who can baptize him. You know, and he's worried about getting into the kingdom. He's worried about his salvation. Okay, and it's not a you know, as long as you do righteousness, do what you're supposed to do. You know, when you're cleansed internally, then you know, that's what the Most High is looking for. You know, the outward showing you can get baptized 50 times. That's not going to get you in the kingdom. You know, yes, baptism is necessary. You know, but the first thing you must do is be right, be clean inside. The Most High will send someone to you. You know, He'll send someone to go ahead and put you in that watery grave. All right, so don't worry about that. You know, that'll come in time. The Most High is not going to leave you hanging. What He's looking for is obedience. As long as you got that taken care of, you're okay. What else do you have?
That's pretty much in a nutshell. Without being a dead horse. You know, it's very important. You know, we all transgress. You know, Satan's number one trick is to have you to fall and stumble. But you got to remember that you can never give up. You always got to dust yourself off, because we are all filthy, dirty rags. Even Israelites. That's everybody. But we're called with a duty. You know, we have it double because we got that blood on our hand if we don't be that light for the whole world to look at and see. And on top of that, we have to make sure our inside is clean as well.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of. And that's pretty much what I wanted to point out when it comes to Pentecost, is for us to remember the duties of a bride, and along with the duties of a husband. You know, most people don't think about this during the Feast of Pentecost. It's usually Acts chapter 2, and then, you know, people mention the giving of the law. Yeah, but this was a marriage contract, and we have to uphold our end, and that's the only way we can become one with the Most High. Okay, just like the Messiah and the Most High are one. That's how we become one with them. We have to obey the terms of this ketubah, this marriage document, and do our part. So the Feast of Shabuot is a great reminder for us to improve, continue on in our walk, get our acts together. If we backslidden, pick yourself up. You know, pray for forgiveness, and start walking the righteous walk, so you can be that righteous bride that's prophesied to be joined back to the Most High. All right. Now, with that, may the Most High bless your understanding. Shalom.
Shalom.
I never tell. I'm up around the clock. I gotta get it, boy. And I speak it, cause I really live it, boy. Like 24/7, cause I know I got a long way to go to get to heaven. Don't sleep till December and it's only